Welcome to Small Business Celebration, and we're starting a brand new series of Getting the Move On. And to celebrate the launch of this new series, our guest this week, well, his business is full of brakes and wheels to help your business get the move on. This is Small Business Celebration. Welcome, where we chat with real business owners who have real success and learn from them about what works, what doesn't, and who want you to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel and it's not a train. Join us where you can learn something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business. Welcome to Small Business Celebration, and our guest this week is Carl Frank, the owner of Bud's Wheel and Tire Parts. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
Thank you.
And for visionaries who don't know who are you, and what is it that you do?
My name is Carl Frank, and we sell trailer parts and service.
The reason we're talking with Carl today is because it's a wonderful succession story. And Carl, your name is not Bud.
That's
Who
right.
is Bud?
So Bud is my grandfather, and he was the founder of the company. He started in 1963, and when I was out of high school, he said, "Hey, why don't you help me out?" And I've been here ever since.
Ever since. Suckered you in, as it were.
Pretty much.
You have not owned the business since 1963. You've owned the business for how many years?
10 years now.
When you started the business when you were 17, did your grandfather envision you buying the business out?
I think it was part of his plan, actually. You know, I worked here for a few years because obviously I didn't know, 17, you're just starting out. So I want to say by the time I was 20, 21, there was talk of me taking over and after he was gone, so.
He started training you at that point?
I think so, yeah.
What did he do with that in mind to help prepare you for taking over the family business?
Well, he showed me everything, all the ins and outs of running a business. Basically starting out in the back, with hands-on, learning all the mechanical things that you have to do. And then after that, he showed me the book side of it and the customer side.
Talk a little bit about the customer side of that, because as a 17-year-old, that's probably the most difficult part, is it not?
It was, because at 17, nobody really takes you serious. So it took a while. It wasn't until I was in my 20s that I could really run the counter and people would respect me enough to trust me, that I knew what I was talking about.
The thing that's interesting about this business is you have been able to keep up with the times. When your grandfather owned this business, who were the majority clientele of people that walked in through the door?
We still have a lot of the same clients, a lot of the big farm companies, oil companies. There's a broad range of industries that revolve around the trailer industry, construction, and then of course there's all the personal RVs and boats and that type of thing. All
the custom trailers and everything like that. Looking around the shop here, there seems to be quite a variety of different kinds of tinker toys, as it were.
No, there is a system, and it usually goes in capacity. So you light duty, medium duty, heavy duty, and they all pretty much have the same type of components. So we have the different classifications of trailers, depending on how heavy or rating they have. Mm-hmm. And you have to have a little bit of everything, otherwise you can't sell it.
Sure. Do you custom fabricate anything here, or is it pretty much all off the shelf?
No, we custom fabricate trailers mainly and repair. Like right now, we have a flatbed trailer out there. The customer has a Lincoln, kind of like, not a hot rod Lincoln, but it's a classic car and it's low, so it doesn't go up the trailer. So we had to cut the trailer frame, and we're actually making a dovetail so he can drive his car onto it. So we do all kinds of little fabrication to existing trailers.
Now, the business has changed since 1963. How has the business changed since then, and what are the majority of your clientele now different than when it was in the 1960s?
Well, in the 60s, it was primarily automotive parts and brakes and shocks and front end alignments. When I came into the business in '97, we were primarily just doing brake jobs on cars and some shocks and small trailer parts. And after that point, we just started slowly evolving into just servicing trailers and getting away from the automotive part of it.
So it's pretty much exclusively trailers now.
It is. It's like a little niche
Right.
for trailers, yeah.
And that sounds like it's been very smart for you to do that, getting away from everything and niching down to just trailers.
It has, because there's a lot of automotive competition here in Bakersfield, so it made sense to just specialize in the trailer part.
How did you educate your customers about we're not doing automotive anymore, we're strictly doing trailers?
It took a while. A lot of it's just word of mouth. People come in and ask for it, you just tell them, yeah, we only do trailers.
And when somebody comes in asking for automotive parts, how do you deal with that particular customer? What's your approach for doing it?
I can always direct them somewhere that, recommendation to where I might go and try to help them get on the right track. I try to help everybody that calls, whether or not I actually do the service for them.
Sure.
So I always try to point people in the right direction, even if they're looking for something that sometimes we're out of stuff too, and I'll even direct them to a competitor.
If visionaries want to learn more about Bud's Brake and Wheel and get recommendations from you as well, how do they do that?
Oh, it's easy. We're right here at 305 East 19th Street, Bakersfield, California, or you can give us a call on the phone, 661-322-7061, or you can check out our website at budsbrake.com.
When we come back, we're going to be talking about how do you promote your business without all the gimmicks. And if you enjoy Small Business Celebration, go ahead and like, subscribe, and notify, and leave a comment. One of the reasons we are here at Bud's Brake and Wheel is because of a Visioneer recommendation that came from a Visioneer. When we come, right back.
Did you know it's that time of the year again? 'Tis the season for holiday portraits. Families, singles, couples, and even your pets. 5x7s, 8x10s, and holiday cards with envelopes. Book now and get 25% off all your additional orders of wall portraits and prints. Call 661-243-0931 or visit us at www.redcraneportraits.com. That's redcraneportraits.com.
I'm here with Carl Frank, the owner of Bud's Wheel and Tire Parts, and our Visioneer question comes from Alex, who asks, what are you doing to get the handful of fans of your business to spread the word about your business without all the gimmicks?
The best one that I like is Yelp. We've fixed people's units or travel trailers when they were broke down traveling somewhere.
Right.
And we got them back on the road, and they were so happy that they left us really nice comments on Yelp. And it's really feels good to see how people have, how we've helped them out.
Sure.
In times where they were in trouble.
Yelp is very important for your business.
It is.
It sounds like your Yelp reviews help lead to other customer growth. Do they also lead to repeat customers for you?
Oh yeah, they do. Unfortunately, we're in an industry where people only see me when they need to see me or they have to see me.
Sure.
But we have a lot of repeat customers. We have a lot of customers that have a fleet of trailers, so obviously they come to see us a lot more than just one guy that has a one boat or something like that.
Tell me about an incident that you had a while ago in Valencia, or Visalia, excuse me.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Okay, sure.
We'd serviced a trailer for a gentleman. It was a big trailer, hot shot, and he was actually here the entire time we were servicing it. And for one reason or another, we're not sure exactly what happened, but he got all the way to Visalia and wheel bearing failure.
Oh no!
Which was I mean, there's no reason for it really, because everything was new.
Right.
And it was just one of those things. He called me, he said, hey, I'm in Valencia, you know, he made it 60 miles, and the wheel didn't come all the way off, but it wasn't good.
Right.
So, I mean, unfortunately, things do happen. Been in business a while, and you know, for the most part, everything goes great, but every once in a while you have an issue. So we had to fix that, and I told him not to worry. I sent my guy Juan down to Visalia and with a bunch of parts, and he got it fixed right there on the site.
On the side of the road?
Yeah, luckily he'd got it over to a big parking lot. There was a motel or something right off the highway he was able to get to.
And at least it wasn't catastrophic, but this was a situation where he had a full load on top of the trailer, did he not?
He did. In fact, we had to have him unloaded. He had about 3 vehicles on it. One was a great big heavy van, and yeah, he had to unload it just so we could work on the trailer, and then of course he loaded it back up and then hauled up north to Visalia.
One of the things that you mentioned in the first segment is your grandfather started this business.
Correct.
You started working here when you were 17.
Right.
I don't know about you, but when I was 17, I was not exactly the most reliable, dependable. I would much rather sleep and, you know, go and have some fun and extracurricular activities, for putting it mildly.
Yeah.
When your grandfather came in, you mentioned it took into your 20s for him to decide that you were going to take over the business. What was that process like when he started training you on how to take over the business?
You know, at first I didn't know what he was doing, you know, because, you know, he's just telling me, get back there, do this, do that, you know, and then he'd disappear into his office, and then if I ran into a problem, then I'd have to come up, and then he'd come back there and get me straight again, and then...
It sounds like that he left you to your own devices.
So I think he wanted me to figure stuff out for myself a lot, and so there was a lot of that going on. You know, between 97 and you know, and I'm a quick learner, and I work with my hands, so I kind of enjoyed that kind of stuff. But you know, anytime I had a problem, I would just come to him, and then he'd come out there and do this, do that, you know, point his finger and yell at me a little bit.
Did you and he butt heads at all?
We did. After I started running things a little bit more, and I was running the front counter, I was ordering more parts than he would normally order, because I started noticing that we were running out of stuff, you know. Right, so anyway, you need to stop ordering so much, or
Did he give you a reason as to why he didn't order so much stuff?
I think he just liked his bank account to stay at a certain level. I don't know. Sure,
right. But this was obviously a very important lesson for you. Why has inventory been such a big deal for you and such an important thing for your business?
It has. I mean, honestly, since I've taken over, we've really bulked up our inventory, because it does help you get some price quantity discounts. Plus, you can't run out of stuff. That was our number one problem, was you know, buying a handful of things. We'd sell a handful of things, and then customers would come in, and we would be out of it. I got to order it, and we'll have it tomorrow. Well, people, especially nowadays, if you don't have it, you're not going to make the sale.
Right.
Nobody's going to wait for you to order it and get it.
We live in an Amazon world.
We do.
So how do you deal with that now? Because there's a lot of business owners that are having supply chain issues.
Yeah.
And you have learned this lesson a long time ago. What are you doing right now to bulk up your inventory so you don't have these supply chain issues?
Well, you can't get ahead of it 100%. I try to buy everything I know I'm going to sell. Back to the Amazon thing, you know, they're buying or selling stuff online or Amazon or whatever for the same price that I'm buying it for sometimes. So we do manage to get the sales anyway, because we do keep it in stock. The customer can just walk down here or drive down here and get it. They doesn't have to order it or take the chance of getting the wrong thing delivered. And you know, and that's the other thing. We have this service here, so you know, when they buy it from me, you know, I can give them pointers, tips, or you know, so they know they're getting the right thing.
So they're learning more than this is the widget part that you need. This is the widget part this is how you install it.
Right.
Now, one of the things too with that is training the customer or educating the customer when they come through. How did you learn a lot of this? Did you go to a lot of schools, or did you learn by, scraping your knuckles and that sort of thing?
Scraping my knuckles. I learned everything here. And hands-on I've installed everything here 1,000 times.
Right.
My suppliers sometimes will call me and ask me, hey, do you know what, will this part interchange with this part? I mean, I've had people call me from all over, and I've actually sold parts all over too.
Right. So you've had suppliers who don't even know their own stuff call you and ask you, how do we put this together?
Or they'll ask, questions about compatibility to other,
Okay, yeah. Sure. So you have become a resource not just for your customers, but also for your vendors.
Yep.
One of the things I wanted to touch back on is with your grandfather, because you also alluded to this just now. Your grandfather left you alone after a while to be self-sufficient. Why do you think that was part of your training process and your growth process for taking over the business?
Yeah, I think he was just, like you say, grooming me for to be on my own. If he was doing everything, then I wouldn't have taken initiative or have learned the same way.
Is this a lesson that you look to teach your children?
Yeah, my kids are still pretty young, so I don't know. Hopefully I can, stick around another 15, 20 years. But I have one new guy, and I'm going to try to teach him the same way that I was taught.
Why is this important?
Because, like you say, if you hold people's hands the whole time, then it's hard for them to learn themselves. Sometimes you got to tear into it by yourself, and sometimes you got to make mistakes too, so you can learn from them.
And we'll be right back. The reason I'm talking with Carl Frank with Buds, Brake, and Wheels because of a Visioneer question. They came from a Visioneer just like you. They wanted to find out, how do I grow my business with word of mouth without all the gimmicks? So if you've got a thought, you've got an idea, something you'd like to learn about, something that makes this program truly special, well, reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and let us know. It's because of Visioneers just like you that makes this program so special. So reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram today. I'm here with Carl Frank, the owner of Buds, Brake, and Wheel Parts. And our Visioneer question comes from Amy, who asks, I have a spouse that is opening an unconventional business. How do I help my spouse grow his business without losing my customer base? Love it.
You just got to be supportive. My wife Anna started a new business, and a lot of her programs take place after hours for me. So it's just getting home, taking care of the kids, so she can do her business.
Right.
So it's a trade-off of things. So. You just got to do what you can.
And if you're listening to this program on the podcast, Carl just picked up a flyer folder and put it on the counter straight in front of the camera. So he's being as subtle as a sledgehammer. It's perfect. I think it's great.
That really does sit out there pretty much all the time.
All the time. You've had this business yourself for 10 years, and your wife came in and she wanted to start hers. How have you been able to help nurture her growth into the business and still be able to keep yours going at the same time?
Her business doesn't directly interfere with my business, so that I'm lucky that way. And we've been able to save a few dollars, so we've been able to invest a little bit of money into her business to get it started and going. Mm-hmm. And like you said, just, if she needs something, I try to help her out. She comes and uses my copy machine.
Now let me ask you this, is one of the benefits of business ownership is you get a little bit more flexibility. And one of the things you like to do is ride motorcycles.
Yeah, so we ride dual sports, me and a few pals. So
right.
we'll like to ride up in the Greenhorn Mountains and take off, 20, 30, 50 miles and
Sure.
through the forest and come back.
What kind of motorcycle do you have?
It's a 2016 KTM 350.
And why did you choose that particular motorcycle?
That's a good question. The 500, I was dead set on the 500, and a guy talked me into the 350 because it's more of a trail bike. So it actually is. It's a great trail bike. The 500 is more of a desert bike. The 350 actually hangs. My buddies all ride the 500, and it stays right with. And sometimes I think it's a little bit faster on the trail than the bigger bike.
It's also a reliable bike.
Oh yeah, very, very. In fact, all I've done with it since I've owned it is put gas and oil in it and change the filters. That's it.
Did you build your own trailer?
I've built 4 or 5 trailers for myself over the years. I actually don't have a trailer for my dirt bike. We just throw it in the back of the truck.
Right. Sure.
But I did have a Rhino, and I built a really cool trailer for that. It actually tilted, and you could just drive up, and it would tilt and latch, and it was pretty neat. I actually sold it to my buddy.
One of the things that you have done for your business is you incorporated, and for a long time your business wasn't incorporated, and then you did. Why did you choose to incorporate your business, and what have been the benefits been for you for doing that?
Obviously, the biggest benefits is your tax liability. It's been night and day, the difference. Before, we couldn't write. We went to our CPA and be like, well, you made a little too much money, so you can't write off any of these losses, and you did this, so you can't do that. And anyway, we got a new CPA, and it's been like night and day.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
The best thing about incorporating is it really helps out your taxable liability. That is the bottom line.
Sure.
Is at the end of the year, you want to keep as much money as you earn.
Right.
So we got the property in an LLC. You got your S corp for the business, and you just run a legitimate business, and you're able to write off all these things. And I got a lot of friends that are still, the private owner or the
they're still sole proprietors.
Sole proprietors, and
really,
they want to. They basically steal from themselves because they don't want to report everything, but at the same time, it keeps your business from growing too.
Oh, sure.
And that's what I noticed too, because we kind of used to do things like that, but at the end of the day, you're really stealing from yourself, and you're not growing.
Right.
So the idea is to grow and make money.
Sure, reap the rewards for what it is that you do.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. One of the things too about your business is that you mentioned that you pretty much do just about everything around here, and yet there are some things that you're having somebody else do. And one of the things is you've got a part-time bookkeeper.
Right. She comes in once a month to reconcile, look over everything that I've done, make sure everything's looking good. Prepares all my sales tax reports and quarterlies and stuff like that.
You said she comes in once a month. Even that little bit of help, why is this such an important thing for your business?
It's important because it's always good to have that expert person who knows the bookkeeping industry and the QuickBooks part of it. She actually doesn't come in. She comes remotely. She used to be from Bakersfield.
Right.
She actually moved. Her and her husband moved to Oklahoma, so she actually just takes over my computer.
You walk in with a cup of coffee and you see the cursor moving around.
I gotta let her in, but yeah, she does. She goes through everything and makes sure all the reports and everything are right. And then at the end of the year, she kind of helps me get all that prepared for my CPA.
What makes you wake up every morning and open your business?
Yeah, it's exciting. I know the trailer world doesn't sound exciting, but it is. Running a business is exciting, and almost every single day, I just love coming down here, and I can't wait to see who's going to come through the front door and what they're going to bring me.
It's a new challenge every day.
It is. It's a new challenge. It's a surprise. It's a little contest. You're trying to beat yourself from last week to last year, and see what happens at the end of the day.
Did my numbers grow from one day to the next?
Yeah, and that's usually what I'm looking at, trying to see if it doesn't always happen, but
sure.
but Knock on wood, we've these last 10 years, we've done better every year than the last.
Congratulations.
So.
Well, Carl, thank you very much for joining us here on Small Business Celebration. If Visioneers want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
That's easy. You can give us a call, 661-322-7061, or you can just drive on down. We're here at 305 East 19th Street, or check us out on the web, budsbreak.com.
Sounds good. And I'll be right back with my final thought.
Did you know it's that time of the year again? 'Tis the season for holiday portraits. Families, singles, couples, and even your pets. 5x7s, 8x10s, and holiday cards with envelopes. Book now and get 25% off all your additional orders of wall portraits and prints. Call 661-243-0931 or visit us at www.redcraneportraits.com. That's redcraneportraits.com.
It's not the thing, it's what you make of it. When I was in college, one of my favorite pastimes to play with a group of friends of mine was called 20 Questions a Riddle. And the object of the game was very simple. You would ask a riddle, then your opponent would have 20 questions to ask you in order to solve the riddle. And one of my favorites was called the Riddle of the 20th Floor. You see, every morning at 8 a.m., Tom would get in the elevator, he would go up to the 14th floor, get out, and run the other 6 floors to the top of the building to go to work. And at 5 o'clock, he would get back in the elevator, and he would take all 20 floors straight down. Why? Usually there was a whole bunch of questions about Tom's employment, what he liked to do, was his job so important that he had to make a stop along the way, was he an athlete, what did he like to run, was he training for something? Now, invariably, nobody would ask what to me seemed the most obvious question. How tall was Tom? Was he vertically challenged? If you've ever been in an elevator and you looked at all the buttons that go up, sometimes trying to reach those top buttons can be quite a challenge, especially if you're not tall enough to reach them. Marcus Aurelius once said, "When you are distressed by an external thing, it's not the thing itself that troubles you, only your judgment of it." I'm recording this here on Veterans Day, and there are a lot of veterans who suffered a lot of challenges over the conflicts over the last 100 years plus. And I'm always impressed by how many of them are able to overcome the challenges that they have every single day, both physically, emotionally, and mentally. So as you go forward today, and you go forward tomorrow in the future, realize the external things that happen to you are only as strong as your judgment to them. I hope you enjoyed our conversation that we had this week with Carl Frank, and I hope that you enjoyed it so much that you learned something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business, and we'll see you here again next week. Did you know that Tesla comes with a unique car smell?
I did not know that.
They call it Elon Musk.
Oh.
And when you took over the... See, you're not the only one who screws up. How do they do that?
Oh, just come down here, 305 East 19th Street, Bakersfield, California. Or you could check us out on our website at budsbreak@yahoo.com.
And that's your email address?
Oh, that's correct. Yeah. Or our website is...
Let's do that over again. Love it. I love it. And if Visioneers want to get in touch with you, how do they do that? What do you take... So